You ever walk into a room and your entire brain just dies mid-sentence? Like you step through the doorway and suddenly your mind goes, alright, I'm out. Good luck figuring out why we're here. Now you're standing there, holding your phone, a spoon, and somehow your laundry, staring into the void like you just got hit with amnesia in real time. Not cute movie amnesia, the did God just unplug me kind. Well, that horrifying little mental blockout has a name. The doorway effect. A tiny psychological glitch where your brain forgets your mission, like it got sniped by a memory assassin. But why does walking into a different room make your brain abandon the plot? Why do you go from functioning adult to confused houseplant in half a second? You're about to find out, and trust me, it's going to make you feel a lot better about your malfunctioning brain. The science behind it. Your brain loves context. It eats context for breakfast. It organises your entire life into little mental rooms. And every time you move physically from one space to another, your brain resets the mental stage like it's switching scenes in a movie. Scientists call this event segmentation, the way your brain slices your day into chunks so it can figure out what's important and what can be thrown directly into the mental garbage can. Walking through a doorway is basically your brain saying, new room, new mission, even if the mission was literally in your last thought 5 seconds ago. Your brain prioritizes the present environment over the last intention because way back in prehistoric times, entering a new space meant something could kill you. So your brain instantly flushes the previous thought to make room for, is there a bear in here? Your ancestors survived. You, meanwhile, forgot your water bottle. Your brain is a goldfish. Let's be honest, your brain can store languages, childhood trauma, 300 TikTok audios, and the entire plot of a movie you watched once in 2012, but the moment you walk into the kitchen, it forgets the one thing you went in for. Your brain has the attention span of a goldfish, but with just enough processing power to make you dangerous. When you're sitting on the couch thinking, I need scissors, your brain loads up what scientists call a working memory file, basically a temporary stick note on your mental desktop. But the moment you step through that doorway, your brain yeets that sticky note into the void like it's clearing its browser history. The context changed. The environment changed. Therefore, according to your brain, the mission must have changed too. That's why you walk in like a confident protagonist and instantly downgrade into an NPC waiting for someone to give you your next objective. And if you've ever wandered around the room hoping the walls would remind you of your purpose, congratulations! That's the human experience. Your brain deletes thoughts like spam mail. Your brain filters information constantly. Every sound, every shadow, every random intrusive thought like, what if birds have accents? It can't process everything at once, so it deletes what it thinks is low priority. And when you pass through a doorway, your brain hits the psychological refresh button. New space. New stimuli. New possible threats. Even if the only threat in the room is a laundry basket judging you silently. Back in caveman days, walking into a new environment meant you had to be alert. Something could be watching, stalking, or preparing to eat you. So the ancient brain developed a habit of dropping whatever it was thinking about so it could pay attention to the surroundings. Which makes sense for survival, but not so much for remembering why you came into the room with a sense of urgency and purpose. This is why your brain will happily forget grab the charger, but absolutely refuse to delete that embarrassing thing you said in 4th grade. Not smart, but selective. Doorways are basically brain reset buttons. Here's the crazy part. Scientists at Notre Dame literally tested this. They made people carry objects through virtual rooms, real rooms, doorways, hallways, and every single time someone walked through a doorway, their memory dropped like a bad Wi-Fi signal. People forgot what they were holding. They forgot why they were holding it. They forgot they were even in an experiment. One guy stood there so long the scientists probably wondered if his soul left his body. And here's the twist. It didn't matter if the room was virtual or physical, your brain doesn't care. It just sees a doorway and yells, "New chapter!" and wipes the mental chalkboard clean. Imagine your brain is a TV show. Every time you walk through a doorway, the editors cut to a new scene. New lighting, new purpose. Except the writers forgot to tell you what your purpose actually is. This is why you walk into your bedroom and immediately get hit by an existential crisis like, wait, why am I here? What is my mission? Who am I? Doorways don't just divide rooms, they divide your thoughts. They create psychological episodes that your brain treats like separate files. So when you walk from the living room to the kitchen, your brain quietly goes, okay, previous mission completed, even though the mission was not completed, and you are now holding a random plastic container like a confused raccoon. And if you think that's wild, wait till you see how your brain decides which memories to erase. Because it's not logical. It's petty. Really petty. Your brain remembers everything. Except the one thing you need. For a brain that forgets why you walked into a room, it sure remembers a lot of useless garbage. You'll forget your task in 2 seconds, but your brain will cling to the theme song of a cartoon you watched 18 years ago like it's holding on to the last Horcrux. You'll forget your keys, your charger, your water bottle, your destiny, but your brain will absolutely not let go of that one humiliating moment in 7th grade when you called your teacher Mom. And here's why. Your brain is obsessed with emotions, not errands. It prioritizes danger, drama, embarrassment, fear, excitement, trauma, gossip, and anything your ex ever said. That stuff gets stamped into your memory like someone carving initials into a tree. But pick up the scissors, well, your brain treats that like spam mail. But not even spam mail. The spam mail you delete without opening. So when you move from one room to another, the brain is like, yes, we're entering a new environment, we must prepare. Forget the mundane task, it's not important. Something dramatic could happen at any second. Nothing dramatic ever happens. But your brain still behaves like you've walked into a gladiator arena, not the kitchen. That's why your brain never forgets big emotional moments. But it absolutely wipes your to-do list if you so much as walk 5 feet and pass a doorway. The brain is not a computer. It's a gossip-loving, drama-seeking, hyper-vigilant, anxiety-fueled jelly blob with too much power and not enough RAM. But forgetting your task isn't even the funniest part. The real comedy begins when your brain tries to justify its own glitching and subtly gaslights you in the process. Your brain gaslights you, and it's not even sorry. Here's the funniest part. After your brain deletes your thoughts like they were expired coupons, it doesn't admit it. Oh no, your brain is way too proud for that. Instead, it gaslights you. It stands there like, weird that you forgot. Couldn't be me. Must be you. You walk into a room, blank as a freshly wiped whiteboard, and your brain has the audacity to act like you made the mistake, like it wasn't the one who did a full factory reset mid-step. And then the brain tries to help by giving you the worst suggestions imaginable. Were you hungry? Did you come here to pee? Maybe you were grabbing something. It becomes that useless friend who gives advice but no solutions. Meanwhile, you're staring at the ceiling like it's going to drop subtitles. So now you start retracing your steps, like you're a detective investigating your own stupidity. You go back to the living room. You sit down and suddenly your brain is like, oh, scissors. Yeah, that was me. Forgot to tell you. And just like that, the memory reloads. Not because you remembered, but because your brain switched you back to the original context file. Your brain literally makes you walk back into the previous room so it can pretend it never abandoned you. It is the toxic ex of organs. Forgets what you said, blames you for it, then pretends everything's fine when you return. But here's where things get even more wild. This glitch doesn't just affect errands, it actually plays tricks on your sense of time, your perception, and even your identity. The doorway effect can mess with time, too. If you've ever walked into a room, forgotten your purpose, wandered around like a malfunctioning Sims character and then suddenly realised 10 minutes disappeared, that's the doorway effect that just messed with your sense of time. This glitch doesn't just delete your thoughts, it scrambles the mental clock running in the background. See, your brain uses context to measure time. Different rooms, different surroundings, different vibes, all of them act like timestamps. When you switch rooms, your brain basically slaps a new label on the moment like, okay, new scene, new hour, new mission, new emotional weather forecast. So the instant you walk through a doorway, you're no longer anchored to the timeline of the previous room. Your brain treats the kitchen as a whole new era of your life. This is why you'll leave your bedroom at 3:02, walk into the hallway, blink twice, and suddenly it's 3:17, and you're holding a mug you don't remember picking up. Doorways literally fracture your experience of time. Your brain doesn't see the transition as 5 seconds, it sees it as the end of one mental chapter and the beginning of another. It's like your brain is filming your life as a TV show and the hallway is the commercial break. You know those moments when you walk somewhere just for a second and return feeling like you just lost a small chunk of your lifespan? That's not you being dramatic, that's your brain editing reality like it's binge watching itself at 1.5 times speed. Even funnier, when memory researchers studied this effect, people didn't just forget the task, they consistently thought more time had passed than actually did. Their brains literally expanded the moment, like adding blank pages into their mental diary. So if you've ever walked back into the living room and said, wow, I've been gone forever, when it's actually been 18 seconds, yeah, that's the glitch. Your brain doesn't just lose the thought, it loses the timeline attached to it. So the next time you walk into a room and your brain instantly deletes your mission like a corrupted file, don't stress, it's just the doorway effect doing what it does best. You're not losing your mind, your brain is just running prehistoric software in a modern house. Tell me in the comments, what's the funniest thing you've ever forgotten mid-doorway? And when you're done laughing at yourself, click here to watch the next video.